When we get back, we'll be joined by television host and most recent inductee to the Poker Hall of Fame, Mike Sexton. Poker Tonight, back after this. Poker Tonight is brought to you by UB.net. Hello and welcome back to Poker Tonight. This year, for the first time ever, the Poker Hall of Fame opened up the ballots for public nominations. And what were the criteria, Joe?
Well, let's take a look at a few. He or she must have played poker against acknowledged top competition. They must have played for high stakes, played consistently well, and gained the respect of their peers, as well as stood the test of time.
Also, for the first time ever, they opened up voting to the members of the media. Sebok and I actually shared a vote, and the man voted in was Mike Sexton. We were there for Mike's induction dinner, where he was honored by friends, family, and poker's all-time greats.
Many of poker's biggest and brightest were in attendance at the Rio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas to witness the induction of Mike Sexton as the 38th member of the Poker Hall of Fame.
I mean, he really is deserving of this honor, you know. I mean, he's one of the most deserving people that I believe that's ever been inducted.
I've had a great time with Mike for 8 years. We've played a lot of poker together. You know, he had his tough nights and his bad nights, but I've never once, ever tell me a bad beat story, even when he's lost everything. That's the kind of guy he is. But on top of that, truly talented, fun to be with, fun to work with.
This is the first time we've had a proper Hall of Fame induction banquet, and Mike Sexton was the hands-down favorite to enter the Hall of Fame this year. He is an absolute class act. He's a great ambassador for the game, and we're honored to put him into the Hall of Fame this year.
Cash these chips in. No.
We're excited and proud to be joined in studio by Hall of Famer Mike Sexton. Mike, thank you so much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thanks, Mike.
First off, Mike, just what does it mean to you to have been voted in for the first time ever by committee and by the media into the Poker Hall of Fame?
Well, it was a great honor, obviously. To me, it's the ultimate career achievement award. You know, I've been in poker all my life, as most all Hall of Famers have been. And, you know, to reach this level, the highest level I believe that you can reach in the poker world, it's a pretty big honor. Even when I'm gone, your name will be up there associated with the greats of the game, like Doyle Brunson, Stu Unger, Puggy Pearson, Johnny Moss, these kind of guys. And it's pretty cool. And especially, as you said, for the first time, you know, there was a process to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it'll always be an answer to a trivia question anyway. Who was the first guy that was voted into the Poker Hall of Fame? That would be me.
Absolutely.
I mean, you were nominated with a pretty impressive class this year, but you're the only guy that got in. You needed 75% of the vote. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. If you had to choose some other people from that class that were deserving to be voted in along with you, who would they be?
Well, truthfully, it's such a great honor to be nominated with that group of players. I believe my guess would be out of the 8 other nominees besides myself, there were 9 of us, I'd like to make a bet that at least 7 out of those 8, 6 out of those 8 will be in the Hall of Fame at one point in their career. And obviously you've got Eric Seidel, you've got Barry Greenstein, Phil Ivey, Daniel Negreanu, these are shoe-ins, Scotty Wynn. These guys are tremendous poker players, and Dan Harrington. I mean, it was just really a great class that I was very proud to be up with, and I was just, I think it was such a tough group to select a player from, so to speak, you know. I was fortunate that most people voted for me, and their second vote probably got scattered out where nobody else could get in, honestly. And, you know, if I could change something about the Poker Hall of Fame in the future, what I would do is I'd take the top 2 vote getters every year. Doesn't matter how many votes they get. You have a nominating class. Let's take the top 2 guys so you know 2 guys get in every year.
You could be painted with a lot of brushes in poker, and I think one of the things people talked about a lot this year was Mike is a great ambassador for poker. No one can deny that, but how do you kind of see yourself in the world of poker and in your legacy in poker? Is it an ambassadorship that got you voted in, or do you think there were other things at play here as well?
Well, I think the ambassadorship had a lot to do with it. You know, I played for a living for like 25 years, and then I sort of transitioned over to the business side of poker. And, you know, I put on the Tournament of Champions originally. I became a commentator for the World Poker Tour. So I've transcended to the business side, and I think players and people appreciate in the industry, you know, that have really done all phases of the industry and have always been out there promoting poker, even before the television boom, and I think people have really appreciated that.
I mean, when you look at the things that you have done as an ambassador to poker, what stands out for you as the one thing that you've sort of done that cemented this legacy as an ambassador? Is it the World Poker Tour? Is it some of the organizations you're involved with?
Well, I've gotten the most notoriety as being a commentator on the World Poker Tour because of television, but in truth, in the poker world itself, What I'm most proud of is creating the original Tournament of Champions. I always wanted to put on an event in the poker world that you couldn't just buy your way into like you could every tournament. I wanted to have it where you had to earn your way in by winning a tournament somewhere in the calendar year, like they do in the Tournament of Champions of golf, for example. You got to win a PGA Tour event to play in that event. I wanted to do that for poker. And so I put on a lavish event. It was ahead of the TV era, ahead of its time. I never made money with it. That was the problem. But, you know, I wanted to have it where you had all champions to determine who the ultimate champion was. And I played multiple games, as you know, and it was something that had never been done before in poker, and I think players really appreciated that. And it was that Tournament of Champions where my career really took off, was when I put on that event.
Let's talk a little World Poker Tour. You have been doing this for so long now, and there's got to be some things maybe that we haven't seen at home that have hit the cutting room floor. Maybe you can give us an embarrassing moment for Vince or even for yourself. What are some of your favorite off-air moments from
Oh boy,
the
I'll
World
tell you,
Poker
I can
Tour?
remember that first show. We're in our 8th season now in the World Poker Tour, but that first show that we did at Bellagio was my first TV show I'd ever done. I've been a poker guy all my life, and here I am stepping into the broadcast booth, and you know, I was drinking a few beers on the side there to try to calm myself down, and you know, it was quite an ordeal for me and quite an experience. I was fortunate that Vince Van Patten, who'd been in television and film a lot of his life, you know, was there sort of to professionally aid me, as we'd say. But you know, it's been a great run. I've enjoyed working with Vince, and you know, I think it comes across on screen that we really love poker. We understand it, and we try to have fun with it, and I think it comes across.
Well, one of the ways you do that, obviously, is with the sort of sextonisms that you come up with. I mean, there are words and terms that you brought into people's lives in poker that no one had ever heard of. Would you have a favorite Mike Sextonism that you've used for a hand or a play?
I've got a lot of them, actually, but
There's so many of them.
yeah, there's so many of them, you know. For my drill sergeant in my Army days, he'd always say, you can only slide so far in barbed wire. When you see a guy just constantly stealing, you know, you can only slide so far before somebody's going to pick you off, you know. And it's that kind of thing that we try to put together and have fun with.
And of course, Mike, you know, you're so famous for so many things in poker. Charity being a big one, you know, among that. It sounds like you actually have a new endeavor that you're getting involved in. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I do. We've created what we call PokerGives.org. It's an organization that we're hoping the poker industry gets behind, and I'm talking about players, casinos, management, and everybody supports Poker Gives. It'll be a way that the poker world can give back to worthwhile charities.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for being on. We really appreciate it. Best of luck, and congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's always good to be with you guys. I look forward to coming back.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
When we get back, Sebok and I will settle some of poker's biggest debates in coin flipping, followed by the weekly misdeal. Poker Tonight, back after this.
How would you like a free seat, all your travel expenses paid, and the chance to hang out with me at the 2010 World Series of Poker main event? It's the Poker2Nite Pro Challenge, and it's totally free. UB.net is giving away 2 packages every week. If you win, you will also be coached by me or Annie Duke. But honestly, why wouldn't you want me, Phil Hellmuth? To be eligible, just head over to UB.net and sign up using the bonus code Poker2Nite. The Poker2Nite Pro Challenge, brought to you by UB.net.